What's going on, everybody? Rob A again, and today we're taking a look at Transformers War for Cybertron Siege Optimus Prime. This is the Voyager class Optimus Prime from the Siege toy line, and I picked this up from Hasbro Toy Shop, which is still selling figures, I believe, for now. I think they're going to stop, but whatever. They had Optimus Prime. Megatron was out of stock, so I wasn't able to pick up Megatron, but they did have Optimus, so I'm pretty excited about that. It looks like a really nice kind of G1-esque Optimus Prime. You can see he's got some weapons here. He's got his battle axe, and I believe he's got his cannon somewhere in here as well. I'm just going to assume that it is hidden in this package somewhere. But on the back, you can see transforms in 27 steps, is compatible with the Battle Masters and weaponizers and all that cool stuff. Fire blast, etc., etc. Choose your weapons loadout. You can see the vehicle mode for Prime here. And then on the side, you've got a really nice image of the battle for Cybertron here. And then on this side, you've got a really nice image of Prime himself. So, very, very cool. Not much else to talk about as far as the packaging goes. So I'm going to go ahead and get this guy open, and we're going to check him out right now. Alright guys, so here we have Siege Optimus Prime, and he is a Cybertronian truck. Yeah, I'm not sure if I totally buy this one, but it is cool looking, so I guess I'll give it a pass. He's got a lot of lights everywhere, just lights all over the place. So we do have some lights up here, some lights down here. I guess that's it. There's not that many lights. They're just big. They're very pronounced on the top, so it looks kind of weird. I guess these could be lasers or vacuum cleaners. I don't know. Whatever. Either way, I do overall like the design of the vehicle mode. It rolls quite nicely, and you've got some cool Gatling guns just mounted on the side of the bumper here, which is also pretty neat. I did check. Unfortunately, these are not quite large or deep enough for the effect parts to stick to, which is, I feel, a shame, but overall it's still okay. You got some weathering effects on the side here with the Autobot logo, which is pretty neat looking, and then some really nice paint work all over. You've got some white paint, some silver detailing, lots of silver paint on the sides, and yeah, just overall a nice compact vehicle mode. And speaking of compact, this thing is quite small for a Voyager size figure. Well, I guess it's an average size for a Voyager these days, but it just feels very small. To give you an idea, here is Deluxe Hound in vehicle mode, and then here's Prime, looking pretty small. So just surprising. That's all. We've got some accessories here. It comes with his blaster, and then this shield slash axe weapon, which we'll talk about later, but he's got lots of mounting points on his vehicle mode all over the place, so you can tack these on wherever you like, and that's pretty cool. The axe does also kind of double as a gun because you can stick the effects parts on the end here, as well as on any of these posts, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, they've got little ports here all over the place just for various attachments, I guess. So that's kind of cool. But overall, a very neat vehicle mode. There is a hollow spot in the back, but it's really not that big a deal, honestly. So yeah, pretty cool looking, pretty neat. So let's get into the transformation. There are a lot of steps here, but they're really not bad once you kind of get the order in which they have to be done. And then it turns out to actually be pretty easy, pretty intuitive, and pretty fun. So let's get into it. So first thing you want to do to transform Prime here is you want to get the wheels. The wheels are pretty much the key to the whole transformation. So we just want to bring the wheels down and just kind of leave them straight down like that. And that's going to basically unlock everything else. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to pop these panels out, just like that. Just kind of get them out of the way, and that'll help unlock some more bits and pieces here. Then we want to go ahead and just untab these from the sides of the bumper, just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and open the windows, the windshield, and that will allow us to come over here, unhook these panels, and just lift this whole section up and back. And that's pretty much all there is to that. It's not that complicated. It's pretty much just explode everything. So next, what we want to do is grab, you can even just grab it by this and just pull the arms out to the side, just like this. And then you can bring the robot head up and into position just like that, and then just close up the chest panels, and there you have Prime's chest all done. Bring the arms forward here. Next, we're going to grab the wheels again and just pull these up and accordion them into the body so they just fill in these gaps on the sides, which I think is a really cool transformation step personally. So, very nice, very neat. We're going to come up here to these panels here. We're going to flip the bumper in all the way. And we're going to flip these panels in, and they're going to snap into place. Bring this whole section down. Then turn it around, and we'll leave it for right this second. So now we're going to come down here to the hips. You can see the hips are separated here. We're just going to go ahead and swing this up, and that's going to kind of tab into place. We're going to separate the legs, and then on each leg what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and flip this panel down to form the knee pads, just like that. We're going to take the wheel section, we're just going to push it back and around and swing it around the other side of the leg. Do that on both sides. And this side gets a little bit stuck. There we go. And we'll just fold it over like that. Now we're going to grab these panels on the side that we pulled out before. There's a little false panel here. It's going to flip around. We're just going to swing it around and fill in the back of the leg with that. There we go, just like that. And it's nice. It's a little step they didn't have to do, because you could put it over, and this is going to be the back of the leg, so they could have just left it open like this. And I feel on any other toy line they probably would have, but I like that the War for Cybertron Siege line is just a little bit more fancy than that. So that's going to all plug in together like that. And then we're just going to go ahead and rotate the legs around at the knees. We're going to fold out the feet, just like so. Do the same on the other side. Just like that. We're going to come around to the arms here, and we're just going to go ahead and rotate this, the Gatling gun panel around to the back, and it's going to tab in right there, and then this panel is going to fold over like this and just tab into the forearm, just like that, and do the same on the other side. Tab it in, flip it over, tab it in, and then this section is going to come down here, and there are two tabs right here, which are going to tab right into these little slots, just like that, and gives them a nice kind of flat backpack. And there you have Optimus Prime in robot mode. So first thing I have to say about Prime in robot mode is that he looks really, really cool. I think Hasbro, Takara Tomy have nailed the sort of heroic silhouette of Prime with this figure. And he just looks great from pretty much any pose. Articulation is fantastic, which I'll show off in just a minute. But first, I just want to kind of show you guys. Here's a close-up of Prime's head here. We've got some nice blue painted eyes and the silver for the faceplate and all that sort of thing. He's got a nice ball-jointed head. It's a little bit limited in the range, but it can turn all the way around. And of course, he gets some decent up and down movement with that head as well. Very expressive, very cool. And the figure is just super solid, like all of the Siege figures have been. I'm really excited about that. So yeah, he does have the kind of weathering paint all over his body in robot mode, which, you know, makes sense. It's supposed to be the middle of the Cybertronian war, and it just makes sense to have the figures kind of look a little bit beat up. It's the only problem that I would have with it is that it's a little bit inconsistent. We get it on the chest panels and the forearms, the thighs, but not any on the legs, the lower legs here, or the torso. So it's a little bit weird in that regard, but overall I don't think it detracts from the figure. I think it looks really, really good for the most part. And if you're not a fan of it, honestly, in hand, you barely notice it when you're just messing around with the figure. And I think overall it really adds to the sort of premium feel of the figure in general. Speaking of premium, we do have a lot of nice paint applications. We've got some yellow up here. Like I said, the silver on the face. We've got some silver on the smokestacks, which are rather short, but it's not meant to be like an earth truck, so you can kind of get away with saying that maybe they're not smokestacks at all. Maybe it's something else, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. You've got the details on the front hip piece. The hip skirts, I guess, picked out in this yellow. You've actually got some nice white paint here in the robot mode, which is only used in this area on the entire figure, which I think it's really cool that they went and used extra paint apps where they didn't necessarily have to. They could have just as easily put silver there, and I don't think anybody really would have complained, but it's really nice to have that white paint there. We got the, of course, the grill and the stomach, the ab area, and just really, really nicely done. Some nice detailing here. We've got the fanned exhaust panels in the legs, and just really, really nicely done overall. He does have a bit of a backpack, which I did mention earlier, but it's really not that big a deal. It looks way worse on video than it actually does in person, and it even has the clear blue plastic here, so you can even just say that it's like a jetpack or something and just get away with it with that. So really, really nicely done overall. As far as articulation, I talked about the head. He does, of course, have arms out to the sides. These panels fold up to make way for that. He does have a little back and forth at the shoulder. Shoulders do go all the way around. He does have a bicep swivel. He does have a nice kind of deep elbow bend there. He does have a wrist swivel, which is very cool. And you can, of course, redeploy these Gatling cannons from his vehicle mode, so he can have Gatling guns just in robot mode as part of his arms, which I think is a really nice kind of integrated weapon system. He does have a waist swivel, which is really cool. He does have hips out to the side, very far. Forward, decent. Back, decent. The knees bend like crazy. Really nice knee bend. He does have a knee swivel as well due to that transformation joint. And he's got some nice tilting ankles also. So really, really nice articulation in robot mode. Again, you can really get some nice heroic stances out of this guy. And I just absolutely love the way he looks. And here he is next to Sideswipe, so you can get a little bit of a size comparison here. He is quite a bit taller than the Deluxe, which I think is great. But he is pretty small. I mean, he's about the average size of Voyagers these days, but he just feels a little small. He's got some weapons. Like I said, he's got his blaster here. You can just pop in his hand, and it looks great. And the blaster, of course, is compatible with the effects parts. You can pop the sort of fire blast in the cannon and show those off. Let's see if I've got one handy here. To kind of show you guys. I apologize that I didn't pull this out earlier, but I kind of forgot about it. So you can grab your effects parts, just pop them in the front of the cannon, and now he is blasting fools like that. And then I did mention before, you can pop that on the end here as well, and you can hold it like this as another as another weapon. But this is meant to be a shield / axe, so let's use it as such. It does have the shield function, so you can pop that on his forearm and use it to defend, or you can deploy it as an axe, where you just pop it out like this, pop this piece out, pop this piece out, and then you've got Prime's battle axe, which fits right in his hand, and he can go about slaying fools left and right in the name of justice. So overall, you know, we all probably have a million Optimus Primes at this point, but I have to say, this is easily my favorite Prime figure that's come out in many, many waves, probably since like one of the first generation figures. I like him way more than any of the Prime Trilogy Primes, and just yeah, a really solid figure. Nicely made. You can tell that actual care went into the creation of this figure, instead of just like, hey, we need a new Optimus for this toy line that we're making. Everything fits together absolutely dead solid in both modes, and yeah, it's just a really, really nicely done figure, well worth your time and your money. So I definitely recommend it. Very happy with this Prime. Now I'm very much looking forward to picking up Megatron as well. Hopefully I can find him somewhere along the way. But in the meantime, that is going to do it for this review, guys. I want to thank you so very much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. It really does help me out. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more. I will have more Transformers coming as soon as I am able. But in the meantime, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.